Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode, another live stream by Fermove. My name is Fernando Munoz Bernal, and tonight I'm coming to you on this live stream from the city of Wuhan in the middle of China. I've been shooting some videos here with CRI, China Radio International, and we started shooting on Monday. And we've been to a couple of places in these 2 days, and I'm going to be here until Friday. But even though I'm very busy doing all these things, I felt that this was a video that I really needed to put out there and talk about Fukushima. The title of this thumbnail of this video, Fukushima Mon Amour, comes actually from a book that I read in high school in French called Hiroshima Mon Amour. I just changed it to say Fukushima because, well, it has to do with nuclear power and things like that. Anyway, that's just about the thumbnail. So, what I want to talk about today is this particular decision by the Japanese government to dump this wastewater, toxic, nuclear toxic wastewater into the ocean. So today I'm going to go over a few of the different things that I consider important to discuss. I also want to be very active in the comment section so that you tell me what do you think, how do you feel about this, and well, we'll take it from there. Again, it's more of an informal conversation between you guys and myself today. If you could tell me how, hi, I'm from Dongguan. Will you return to Dongguan? Yes, yes, of course. I live in Dongguan. I am in Wuhan just until Friday, Jack. So thank you for asking. So guys, I want to start then addressing some of the things that have taken place that I want to put out there because it's a little bit outrageous. The first topic then is that Japan uh, last Tuesday approved the discharge of Fukushima's wastewater. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the water that has been used to cool down these reactors after the earthquake, after the tsunami, and after the damage that it suffered, this nuclear plant suffered because of that. Um, so to control the heat of the reactors, they use this water to cool it down, and unfortunately, that water becomes contaminated. It's radioactive. So what they've been doing is they keep storing it, and at the time of this video, at the time of this news, they're talking about 1,000 tanks, and the capacity that they have right now is 1.2 million tons of wastewater, of this, well, radioactive wastewater. Um, there are countries around the area that opposed this release. Um, South Korea is one of them, and China has strongly opposed this release. And well, the interesting thing is that South Korea also regularly releases certain amounts of yeah, contaminated water, of wastewater from nuclear plants, but never in this amount. So there are a couple of things that are very important to note here. Um, the accident that took place is very often compared to Chernobyl. So I would like to go there for a second. Let's talk about the causes of Chernobyl and the causes of Fukushima. Uh, Chernobyl basically was a failure of equipment. There were no fail-safe mechanisms in Chernobyl, and when the reactors failed, well, basically there was a lot of leakage through the atmosphere. A lot of people compare the response of Japan and the response of Russia in Chernobyl as well. And other element that is compared when people talk about these two accidents has to do with the actual death and health issues that have been present in Chernobyl and Fukushima. In Chernobyl, there were a dozen or almost 30 deaths from people who worked at the plant, and there's also been proved links between cases of cancer, thyroid cancer, and children with issues and deformities because of the exposure to radioactive material in Chernobyl. Um, the information that we have up to this point is that Fukushima did not cause any direct deaths. That's the information that is shared. Also, that the reaction that the Japanese government had was actually quick, and it prevented pretty bad spread of the radioactive material. Now, the other thing to talk about is the cost of Fukushima. This was a plant that had um, safeguards in place to try and reduce the effect of the contamination of the spread of this radioactive material. So that played an important role in containing the spread through the atmosphere of this radioactive material, which did not happen in Chernobyl. So there's a huge difference there. Now, the issue where we are right now is that, well, the water that has been used to cool down this reactor, it's now contaminated, it's now radioactive. It is said that there are about 60 different types of radioactive substances, and perhaps the most worrisome is one called tritium, which cannot be treated. It cannot be deactivated or removed from the water. Therefore, it's still a big concern when people are considering the fact that they are going to release this water into the ocean in such quantities. The government of Japan says that they are reaching the maximum storage capacity, and they need to proceed with the removal, the release of this wastewater, because they need to move on with decommissioning this particular power plant. Now, the neighboring countries, they're all trying to discuss different possibilities, the possibility of enlarging storage capacity in one way or another to prevent the possible consequences, the terrible consequences of releasing this amount of radioactive wastewater into the ocean. So I would like to, again, kind of like a parallel between the consequences. As we said, as I said earlier, Chernobyl was more like a atmospheric spread of the radioactive matter, while in Fukushima it was contained. But is the water now that we are considering. And well, the consequences are going to be very different because as you release this water into the ocean, there's ocean currents, there's ocean streams that are going to spread all this water and polluted water and contaminated water all throughout the ocean. I have seen some models that show it going all the way to the coast of America, which is interesting when it comes to the kind of support that Japan has had from different countries. The American government seems to be okay with this particular situation, which is very surprising since it has been proven in these models that this contaminated water would eventually get to the west coast of America. Now, the more direct and more immediate consequence has to do with fisheries and the beaches. So people who are, well, beachgoers who enjoy the water in the beaches of South Korea or even Japan, China, etc., will be affected. There has to be very close monitoring of what's taking place and to determine whether they're doing it the proper way. There are basically certain levels that the United Nations and certain agencies study and determine to see whether this is done properly. And preliminarily speaking, they say that this is safe to do. However, uh, people are just going bizarre. They're just not understanding why this is a good idea. They don't want to go down this path. Um, Not only beaches and fisheries will be affected. There's also coral and well, even ecosystems that we don't necessarily consume that will be affected. That's a very big concern. Now, some of the official numbers that I've researched for this particular video, which is not going to be a very long video, I just wanted to share this with you and answer some questions and get to a dialogue between you guys. So let me finish with this particular presentation, and then I'll get into the comments and see where you guys are coming from in terms of understanding the situation. Well, it is that from the water that they want to release, only 30% meets the standard for release. Only 30% of all these 1.2 million tons of wastewater meets the standard for release, has been treated in certain ways that makes it safe for release. Uh, what about the other 70%? What's going to happen with the other 70%, and particularly with tritium, which cannot be treated, cannot be removed, cannot be neutralized. That is a very, very big issue for a lot of the countries. So as I said, South Korea and China have been very, very strongly opposed to this release. They're asking for Japan to be as transparent as possible with their situation, and they simply say that they have reached maximum capacity. Here's a tweet from um, uh, the United States Secretary of the State, Mr. Blinken. He says, well, thanks Japan for its transparent efforts in its decision to dispose of the treated water. We look forward to the government of Japan's continued coordination with, well, this particular organization. Now, here's the thing. He's talking about treated water, but as we just mentioned, I just expressed to you, only 30% of the water meets the standards for release. So, I don't know what transparency he's talking about. I don't know what would be the benefit of going along with Japan in this particular measure, in this particular endeavor. I don't get why Blinken is, or the United States is supporting Japan in this decision. So there you go, guys. It's a very complicated situation. They say that the release will be gradual. It'll take years, but yeah, it's not an easy situation for the neighboring countries. So let me go into the comment sections and see what you guys are up to. I'm gonna go back all the way. Okay. You guys are asking about my journey. Well, it's been great. Let me address these questions one by one, and then we have this conversation. We went yesterday to a the East Lake, which is not too far from the hotel where I am right now. It's a huge, huge lake. It's enormous, and it's what is most impacts me the most is to actually be able to see the people of Wuhan kind of like um, getting back to their lives. When you see the images on TV of what it's like Wuhan on the lockdown, those empty, deserted streets, see people out on the streets, out enjoying themselves, just living their lives. Lots of people doing sports, lots of people cycling, just a lot of influencers, a lot of TikTokers and things like that. Not from our team, from our group, because we're about 30 or something people, but just local people. Um, it's nice. It's nice to see that life has gone back to normal in this place. One of the things that amazed me the most was the fact that they mentioned that the park, this park in this lake, East Lake, well, several things they told me, but one of the things that surprised me the most was that they opened to the public again on April 8th of last year. That's 2020. That's a couple of months after it was discovered. It's crazy. And to compare that with the rest of the world that's still struggling with containing it, like even in Colombia, there's still so many cases, very few tests, and still quite a few deaths each and every day. Um, the contrast is just it just hits you in the face. You know what I mean? April 8th of last year, that's when Wuhan opened its public parks again. I don't know what you guys think of that, but to me, that's wow. That was impressive. No, but in terms of what we saw, the infrastructure of this park is really cool. They have something called the Greenway, which is a place where people can ride their bicycles or run or whatever. That is 100 kilometers in length. That is gigantic. I mean, if you're gonna run, you can't run around it, right? It's just way too long. If you're gonna ride on a bike, that's I don't know, that's 3, 4 hours of biking. Interesting to see, very interesting. And this particular lake is like you're gonna see a video that I made afterwards, nice drone shots and whatnot, because yes, you can fly drones here in Wuhan. Um, I actually um, uh, we actually saw um, part of it. We rode the ferry from one side of the lake to the other side of the lake, and this particular lake is right in the middle of the city. Many things that I didn't know about Wuhan is my first time here, and one of the things that I learned is that it has 166 lakes. I'm like, jeez, it's just crazy. Beautiful place, lots of green spaces. So this is where I am. Let me go with another question. Tiempo Lim, hi from Malaysia. Japan will pay back one day on what they are going to do. Let me bring this here. I don't think it's a matter of Japan or not Japan. I mean, it's difficult to blame Japan for what happened. It was a natural accident. That's one part, right? The other part is what they're about to do. There are other alternatives. There are other things that could be done, but they're not being explored. They're not being considered to the full extent. It's just going to, hey, we need to release. How about if you had told the world and China and South Korea, hey, we're reaching capacity. What can we do? Can we build something else? Can we do something else? It seems like it's just last minute kind of situation, and that's where I don't get the whole transparency thing from Blinken. Um, I don't think that Japan will pay back. We will all pay for this. The whole world will pay for this, and this is the way that I see it. Um, difficult to say. Difficult to say. It's not a easy to blame Japan for what happened, but yes, I'm inclined to blame them for what they are about to do. Um, okay, Jack, saying thank you for telling the world the truth about China. This is what I try to do, man. I try to give people a perspective that they don't get to hear in the news, and also from my own experience. So it's a little bit different from everybody else's. I see things in a different way. I get information from different ways, and this is basically what I try to do with my channel. Um, I just shot a video this morning about polysilicon, but because now these videos I like to put subtitles, I'm going to be releasing it probably around the weekend because it has to go to the guy who does the subtitles and bring it back to me. So I'll post it. Um, very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, that Bloomberg article, sorry, video, an article that was written about the polysilicon industry in Xinjiang uh, is just Western media at its best. Just nothing but speculation and nothing but uncertainty turning to news. It's really sickening. So keep an eye open for that particular video. Um, yeah, I go into a lot of detail as to why or how media is trying to portray Xinjiang in such a light. Um, Okay, White Cat says Japan is not willing to spend money on a lot of people's lives to make a protective layer, like in Chernobyl. Chernobyl was a bit of a mess in terms of from my understanding. Um, and it's not just Japan spending money, man. I think that the world needs to spend money. I mean, anybody who gets affected by this, and that means basically the whole Pacific Basin should pitch in to control the situation. If there is need for more storage, then what could be done? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think this is just a Japan only situation. Um, let's see. This is an interesting question. Lee Hu, why Western media keep silence? Dude, let me. This is part of what I wanted to talk about today. If this was China, let me put it this way. Beijing has a sandstorm. Bad. Couple of days that are horrible. It's all over the news in the West. It's in the New York Times, it's in the Washington Post, it's on CBS, CNN, MSNBC. It's all over the place. This this situation with a sandstorm, which is something that happens quite often and is an issue because it's very close to desert areas, right? And you get these winds, and well, you get a sandstorm. What can you do? It's a geographical location of Beijing which causes this. But this, a huge issue like this, gets nothing. So little coverage. That's extremely unfair. This is what I was talking to a friend earlier today. Um, it's so annoying. Like, why? Why are you so negative when it comes to China, but Japan potentially ruining the coastline, the west coast of the United States, but you stay silent. I don't understand. Interesting question here. Sweden girl, right? Greta, I forgot her last name. Um, yeah, I mean, she cries about each and everything. This, absolutely silent. Interesting. It will be interesting for me to know why that is so, why she's kept quiet about this particular incident. Um, Interests, maybe somebody told him to shut her mouth. Who knows? Maybe she outgrew this particular stage of her life. Who knows? But yeah, the Greta, haven't heard much of her. Pixmosphere, 2 years left to eat some seafood. What am I? Yeah, the sushi industry is going to struggle. There's gonna be consequences, and people are going to think twice about eating seafood, I think, particularly sushi and Japanese food, which is traditionally and normally eaten raw in many cases. So not that cooking it is going to do anything to radioactive materials, but yeah, there's from the seed to the mouth almost no processing at all. That's really raw, man. Uh, Forgive the pun. So serious matter to consider there. Eating seafood. So who knows? And the other issue is going to be, as I said, with a tourism industry because beaches all along the coast, all along Asia, are going to be affected by it. So who's going to jump in the water when you know that there's a stream of radioactive water floating around? And how long will that last? Who knows? David, Greta, where are you? Okay, Manzana, welcome to the stream, man. Anyone fancies some? Okay. All right. Um, okay, here we go. Jay Lee says the BBC has done two reports with regards to Japan's decision on releasing water. No comments, yeah, no editorials, just graphics and text and oh, this is what's taking place, but no deep dives into what is taking place and no questioning as to whether this is the right thing to do. Very sad, very one-sided. Um, Let me see. I see. Oh my God, you guys started. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back. Um, that was 7 days ago. Blinking again. Yes, Jerry, you're right. It's the International Atomic Energy Association, the one that determines whether this is safe or not. But according to those parameters, only 30% of that water is ready for being released. Okay. Um, okay. I didn't know this, Jerry. There's more tritium in a banana. I had not heard of this. But again, then we're talking about 1.2 tons of wastewater. I don't know if that's what you're trying to compare. I mean, there's more tritium in a banana than in all the water that they're going to release. I don't know. Okay. Okay, let's see. Radioactive sushi, GB. Hey, Jimmy, how are you? Let me bring that up. Radioactive sushi. It's not even funny, man, really. It's so sad. Okay. Fusion results in weapons grade refuse for weapons making. Okay. You says hi from Singapore. Okay. Hey, talking about Singapore, guys, I want to tell you this guy, Noel Lee, who I went with to Xinjiang, he is skyrocketing in his YouTube channel. He went, he flew past the 1,000 subscribers, which is the minimum requirement for monetization. And one of the hardest things is to actually get to those 4,000 hours of watch time. He is so close, and he started his channel about 3 weeks ago. It took me about 2 years. So now you can compare the growth that he's having. So if you're here and you haven't been to check his channel, go check it out. Noel Lee, awesome content. Great. He did something that I did not do when we went to Xinjiang. I went there to do what I like to do, with editorial pieces, like deep dives and discussions. That's what I went to shoot. But he actually did street interviews, talking to people and asking them questions. So yeah, he's from Singapore. If you're from Singapore and haven't subscribed to his channel, go check him out. He did some amazing job over there. Um, Sylvain Racine, hello from Wudang Mountains. I have no idea what Wudang Mountains are. Hmm, okay. Well, I hope that you have a good time in Wudang Mountains. Um, yes, there is internet in Wudang. Um, okay, Billy Khan and Company says, I suppose the Biden approve of it. Of course, I mean, he is the president after all. How unchristian he is. He will be eating mutant seafood for next year. At his age, his diet is probably just not include too many exotic things, I suppose. Okay. Um, this is very true, and I think that this has a lot to do with what we're seeing. Japan is a US lapdog. Not only Japan, there's quite a few countries doing that. Daniel Dumbrell put a video earlier today, I think, when he actually shows how there are politicians and people who determine policy in America who actually a bit of a tangent, right? They don't want to see China being strong, no matter what. In a debate, he was asked, well, what if China became democratic? What if China became just like America? What if China adopted our constitution? Would you still want China to be poor? Would you still want to destroy China's industries? And the answer was yes. So this is extremely telling when it comes to what we're seeing nowadays coming from the United States. And another issue that Daniel Dumbrell showed there was this same politician, this same person, talking in Australia to some security people, yeah, national security forum or something like that, saying like, look, you do not want to oppose America. If you are trading heavily with the United China, if you are doing projects and partnerships with China. You are against the United States and you do not want to oppose us. Ask Fidel Castro. That's what the guy actually said on that video. So, and perhaps the most amazing part was how everybody was clapping after he just threatened them. This doesn't register in my head. You get threatened by an American politician, a person who can actually affect damage in your country, and people are just clapping. I don't know if they were just his entourage or what, but that was like, oh my God, how could you celebrate being threatened? But yes, a lot of countries are doing America's bidding against China. Johan, hey, how are you, my friend? Japan could buy insurance from Lloyd's of London in case anyone's livelihood is destroyed or health is affected by the radioactive waste. The quote would give good insight to the potential risk. Hmm, smart. All right. Jerry, you're gonna have to meet Johan. He's very good. Good evening, Noel. This is the guy that I was talking about. This is the legend. He's doing awesome. Noel, how you doing, man? Did you already get to 4,000? Let me know in the comments section. All right. Gentlemen, who else do we have here? Um, this is funny. Noel Lee, that's what Asians normally look 10 years younger. Yeah, I agree with that. It's a little bit difficult to tell people's ages in China. We age a lot more visibly, I would say. Okay. Um, all right. Who else do we have here? Yeah, okay, let's see this coming from Noel, which is interesting. Um, of all the countries in the world, I would have expected Japan to be the world leader in waste disposal. Yeah, they have a history of doing things that are not the friendliest to the environment. It's disappointing. Guys, I just wanted to make this video and share it with you and bring it to your attention. I'm sure a lot of not really diving into this, but this is something that affects the world, not just Japan and not just China and South Korea. The world will be affected by this. So I thought that a little bit more attention was uh, deserved. So I wanted to put this out there for you guys to know more about the situation and maybe check with the people of influence around your circle, if it's a senator or if is a lawmaker. See what they say, see what they feel, check with them, and maybe there's something else that could be done. All right, guys. I'm going to be cutting it short because tomorrow is a very long day. Today I woke up at 5 o'clock to shoot the video about the polysilicon in Xinjiang, and then we were on the road shooting all day. And tomorrow is again something very similar. So yeah, I'm going to be until Friday. This is the reason why I'm not going to be doing the Wu Mao show. If you guys know, the Wu Mao show takes place every Wednesday. But we decided to skip this week because I didn't bring all the gear. I mean, I'm doing this out of my iPad, which is powerful enough, but I just don't trust. Sorry, I just don't trust it to have a lot of people coming in and out, a lot of graphics and stuff. I don't think it's powerful enough to do that. So this week there will be no Wu Mao show. We'll come back Wednesday after tomorrow, basically in 8 days. So if you're a follower of the Wu Mao show, keep an eye open on that because the next show we're going to be addressing ADB China. Hmm, there we go. All right, guys. If you have any other questions, just let me know and I'll answer it. If not, then I'll probably just wrap it up. Noel, this is very true. You're welcome to the grind, my friend. Doing such sacrifice of personal time. Yes, this is, look at this. Black eyes and all. All right, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will see you again soon with more more content, pre-recorded content, and more content about Wuhan. I had like 4 or 5 videos already about different things that we saw here. And definitely we're coming back with the Wumao show next Wednesday. Guys, thank you so very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your day if you're in the West. And until I see you again, take it easy. Bye for now. Take care.